Farmers today are facing rising costs, volatile markets, and extreme weather. The A Better Way to Farm podcast digs into strategies to help you take control of farm inputs and maximize profit so your farm can thrive for generations. Remember to take advantage of our free resources at abetterwaytofarm.com. Now, from America's Heartland, here's your host.
What do you do when the cows get out? Rod here at A Better Way to Farm, where we increase yields and improve profits. And we appreciate you tuning into this episode, but as I was getting ready to do it, I got that call that no one wants to get. Hey, this is your neighbor, and your cows are out. And strangely enough, it's the first time we have ever got that call. We have new fences all the way around. We are very adamant about taking care of them and not having that happen. And tomorrow in the daylight, I will go find out where they got out and how they got out, and we will remedy that. However, for tonight, knowing that we could have had 30 plus cows running all over because most of the neighbors have no fence, so once they get out, they can go for miles, we had to do something about it. And it got me thinking. I was out riding a four-wheeler looking for them and trying to figure out what we were going to do. And it was interesting because my youngest daughter was home, and she immediately, that wasn't why she came home. She was home from college. She's like, I'll go. And she jumped in another 4x4 or four-wheel drive side-by-side, and she took off, and we went looking. And we got all but two of them back, and we will find those two in the daylight. Of course, when they get out, they go into the neighbor's ground who has a jungle, who has it purely for hunting and has CRP with switchgrass that's 8, 9, 10 feet tall, and you can't see where the ditches are riding in the dark. But I was thinking about who have you got that you can count on? And it was interesting because the neighbor who called me actually was like, I'll come and help. Just let me know. And I had another neighbor here who does have cows right beside us, and he texted, hey man, if you need any help, let us know. And it really got me thinking, as we go through life, who do we have that will respond when the cows get out, or when the combine burns up, or when whatever it is in the way of life's travels takes us down a path we don't want to be in, and we need help. And it really has been interesting to watch our business unfold over the last 32 years, to see the number of people who are really looking for a teammate that they can count on. I share the story often that a few years ago, it's been, 15 years ago probably, we were working with some NCGA growers and had 4 people went over 300 bushel for the first time. And this is back when that was the real deal. And it was interesting because someone was asking them why they work with me. And in my brain, they were going to say, because Rod's really smart, because Rod's really good, because blah, blah, blah. And I was letting my ego run away with itself, as we sometimes do. And in reality, what all 4 guys answered individually, not knowing what the other 3 said, they all said, Rod calls me back. And in that moment, I had a real epiphany. Because these were the guys who everyone in the world would like to be able to say, this guy uses my product and therefore you should too. These were the top corn growers in the world at that time. And the thing they liked, the thing that they valued, was that I would return their phone call. And I really thought, man, this is crazy. Here's all these guys who people claim that they want to have as clients, but they won't call them back. And it's an upside down world that we live in. I was chatting with someone. We've had a tremendous number of people reach out to us, talking to different ones. Talked to Kyle today, talked to Alex today, talked to Cody today, talked to Dean, talked to Matt, a whole bunch of people reaching out to us, Terry. And we have all these people who have reached out and want to work with us, and they've opened accounts. They're going to be going to the training. They're hanging out, wanting to see what they can do and how they can do it better. And I find it interesting that what they're really looking for is somebody who they believe can help them, can show them something different. In particular, when I was talking to Dean today, he was talking about that, different people that he's talked to, and he's talked to 4 or 5 different guys, but they're all saying exactly the same thing, and they're all talking about doing exactly what he's been doing for the last 15 or 20 years. And guys, there's nothing wrong with that. If you're content and that's where you want to be, so be it. That is fantastic. And I'm super happy for you, genuinely happy for you. However, if you're wanting to do something different, if you're looking for guidance and you want someone to guide you in a different path, then maybe we need to be talking to someone different. Maybe we need to be talking to somebody who isn't going to say the exact same thing as everybody else, but they're going to put a different twist on this and say, hey, let's try this. Let's take a soil test. Let's use the soil test. Let's do what it says, and let's take a look at what it is that's truly our limiting factor. Let's find it and let's eradicate it. And I've done some of these on team building before, but tonight when I was riding through that 8-foot, 10-foot tall switchgrass, and I absolutely couldn't see where I was going, and I'm going real slow because I'm just waiting to ride off into some ditch big enough to hide my whole four-wheeler. And I was just thinking about, man, who will come and go with you? Who's going to be there? Do we have people on your team who, you can call them on a Saturday evening, you can call them Wednesday night at 9:30, that they're going to answer the phone, and if they don't answer, it's because they're on the phone, and they're going to call you back sometime in the next 60 minutes? Or do you have people on your team who at 4:29 lock the door, go home, and shut their phone off? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. If that's your business model and it works, and that's how you would like to be, is to work with those people, that is fantastic. I just think that you have a choice in today's world. And I would hope that as you build your team, that you're looking for those teammates in the form of employees, the guys who, even though they don't want to come when the cows get out, they'll come back and go to work and say, man, let's do this together. Let's get her done. When it doesn't get done right, and all of a sudden it's Saturday night and you've got to work till midnight because that's what it takes to get it done, that's what they do. When they have to get up and come in at 4:30 in the morning because the truck's got to be in the line so you can get the grain unloaded so you can get it reloaded again, that's what they do. I hope you have a team of people in the repair business who will drop what they're doing to the best of their ability unless they're on a hot call with someone else and they understand the importance and the timeliness of not letting you set for 2 or 3 days. I see growers out here, some of them, they have shops that they have relationships with. I have a tremendous guy. Brent is a good friend of ours. And when we're in the field, if Brent's anywhere in this part of the world and he's not already off working on somebody else's absolute catastrophe, he comes, he gets us running and gets us going again. And I really appreciate him. And those are the guys that we're looking for, the guys who are going to be responsive, who are going to help to the best of their ability, and they're just going to be good teammates. So we're looking for good teammates in the repairs. We're looking for good teammates in the seed. Do we have teammates there? Do we have people that when it goes sideways, they're willing to come and take a look and try and figure out? Guys, not everything is going to go perfect. Not everything we do is going to be a home run. Not every time we plant a seed on a hybrid on a field is it going to be the right one. And it isn't so much that we didn't get it right the first time. It's what can we do differently so we get it right the second time. There are mistakes that can be made in fertility, and we got to figure them out and say, okay, we didn't get it right the first time, but we definitely don't want to repeat this. What can we do? How are we going to change this? How are we going to make it better? And do we have a group of people who are around us that have that common goal? It's interesting because as I go through life and I see so many places that we go and so many people today are just simply there for the check. And that's people that I'm trying to buy things from. You go in, you're trying to buy a vehicle or you're trying to buy a piece of equipment and you feel like you have to call them up and beg them and beat them to get them to take your money. And that's very frustrating. So do you have a team of people who are selling to you, who are anxious to get you the answers to your problems? It's not about getting the money. It's not about getting the sale. It's about solving the problem. Hopefully, everything you're buying on your farm, you're buying for one reason. You're buying it to solve a problem. Hopefully, you're buying a brand of seed with the correct hybrids that solves the problem of matching those up perfectly as possible with the fields that you're going into, and you get the response. Hopefully you have a seedsman who can give you the right populations, who can give you the right planting depths, who will show you the things that you need to go with. Hopefully you have people who make your recommendations for chemicals, who are not basing those recommendations off of what it is that they think they want to sell, but they're literally looking at the soil types, and they're looking at the pH, and they're looking at the weed pressures on different fields, and they're saying, in this instance, this is what's going to get you the most weed control. And over here, in this other instance, it's going to be something different. Because, guys, people who are dealing with us on doing one size fits all are probably not doing us a favor. The fact of the matter is, one size fits one. And I don't even mean one size fits one grower. Oftentimes it's one size fits one field. And we've got to be able to make sure that we're not planting that same hybrid on the great ground and on the weak ground and on the hill ground and on the bottom ground, because there's no chance that that's going to be the right hybrid in all four of those. Nor are we going to be using the same fertility plan in those four different places. I run into, Dean was talking about today that he's got some ground that's got a pH of 8.2. And they've struggled with that because of the fact that the phosphorus isn't very available. And everyone he'd been talking to was trying to get him to apply a boatload of phosphorus because his P1 level is low, but his P2 level is high. Guys, when you have a pH of 8.2, there is almost always a big spread between P1 and P2. Why is that? Well, because the calcium in the soil is so abundant that it ties up with the phosphorus as soon as you apply the phosphorus. So applying high doses of phosphorus will only increase your P2. It very rarely will increase and make available P1. So how do we farm around that? It's real simple. We just use a really good starter fertilizer and put it in the trench. If it's an orthophosphate hot mix, it's going to stay right there. It's not going to get tied up. It's going to go into that plant and it meets that phosphorus need early. And then what happens? Time passes and it warms up and the P2 starts to release and all of a sudden we can go. But what do we got to do? We got to meet that need early. And so hopefully you're looking for those teammates who can solve those problems, who can say, hey, Mr. Grower in southern Minnesota with a pH of 8.2 versus, hey, Mr. Grower in southern Iowa who just rented a piece of ground down here where we fight low pH and the last renter didn't ever lime, and that pH is 5.2. Guys, those are different worlds, completely and totally different worlds. And hopefully the person that you're dealing with in all of your inputs is someone who will come and chase the cows. Someone who will come and help when it goes sideways. Guys, it's an interesting time that we live in right now. We know that we have got some depressed markets. We know that inputs have been at historic highs. They're starting to come down just a little bit. We've been very blessed. We got our raw material suppliers to back up, and a lot of our micronutrients went down 20 to 23%. Fertilizer went down about 20%. And so we're seeing some significant improvements there. I don't know what the future holds. It'll be anxious to see how this all shakes out. But guys, we are doing our dead level best each and every day to bring the best value that we can bring. And as we go about this, it's always interesting to work with new people. I had a great chat with Cody today, and I really enjoyed talking to Cody. And Cody was talking about the fact that, and he came to me, it wasn't me saying it. He was just like, we got to figure out how to make more money off of every acre. And we're going to make more money off of every acre by A, lowering our input costs, and B, raising our yield. Because when we can drive that price per bushel down, good things happen. Guys, we're coming into that Thanksgiving holiday season here, and it'll be upon us really soon. And I want to take this time I'll do it again, but I want to wish you happy Thanksgiving. But here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to remind you, because sometimes you ever have a day when you kind of take your eyes off of what's really important and you just get overrun and all you can see is the obstacles. All you can see is what went wrong. All you can see is what that guy's supposed to be helping you didn't do or how he didn't do it correctly. It happens to all of us. It really does, but the fact of the matter is we can take the other side of it and we can take a look. I can be really bummed. The cows got out and I don't know how. And, perhaps somebody made a mistake. I don't know. Maybe they were just obstinate and contrary and got out on their own. But I could be focused on the fact that the cows got out, or I could be focused that my daughter who's in college, who happened to be home tonight, was willing to go out in the dark, in the cold, in the drizzle, and say, hey, we can do this. And if we start looking at those things and being thankful. So my challenge is every day from now till Thanksgiving, just take a few minutes and make that grateful list. Make that grateful list and tell the people. Tell your wife, tell your spouse, tell your husband what you're grateful for bringing the meal to the field, for being a good provider, for working really hard, whatever it is. Brag on the kids. Tell them thanks for working hard in school. Thanks for working hard on the farm. Thanks for being the kind of kid that I can be proud of. and catch them doing something right. And as we work through that grateful list, when we come at it with an attitude of gratitude, a lot of other things will improve. A, it makes my attitude improve. And B, it makes everybody around me's attitude improve because they're a lot happier. So guys, that's my challenge. Pick your teammate, know the people who will come and help you when the cows get out, and be really grateful for them and really grateful for getting the cows back in. We appreciate you tuning in. It's always exciting to get to share with you a little bit. We look forward to talking to you guys. I want to encourage you to reach out. I get guys saying, oh man, I've been going to reach out, but I didn't want to bother you. Reach out. It's always easy to get a hold of us. Email Karen at abetterwaytofarm.com and let them know you'd like to have someone talk to you. It's free to chat. It's free to get information, and we love helping. Guys, thank you for your time. Thank you for your attention. I hope you truly have a lot to be grateful for, and I really do hope you're having a better day.